welcome to Confessions of an SEO. This is your host, Carolyn Holzman. If you're new to the show, welcome to the most non-SEO SEO podcast on the planet. I've been calling this love letters to the SEO industry and the businesses whom they serve. That is until Ted Kubitis started calling it Radiolab, but for SEO. And what little I know about Radiolab, I really like that. Radiolab, if you're not familiar with it, it's a definite intersect between taking stories and science and doing fun things with them so that people learn and they're entertained at the same time. So I hope this is that for you. So that being said, if you are looking for shiny new SEO tactics, if there are any in here, it's completely by accident, but you're more than welcome to start digging. Mostly this is the people side of SEO. My intention is to put a human face on our misunderstood and often maligned industry. Expect to hear pretty honest and blunt observations. Most of the time, this is agnostic information concerning SEO from someone who has been there on both sides. A brick and mortar owner, business owner, for over 28 years, trying to get more business, and a reformed client SEO of 12 years so far, but now seriously seeking SEO researcher and tester. I've said this before, but I deeply believe it, that the farmer and the cowboys should be friends. And there's a mutual revenue opportunity to be made when we can better understand each other's work, what we're doing. So if you're an SEO or a business owner or an executive out there working with an SEO marketing group, this is for you. Good morning from Vermont. And just saying that relaxes me. Also, I really appreciate my colleagues sharing this podcast with their friends and clients, and it's definitely showing in from what I can tell, and then as well as the emails coming in with comments about the show. So for today's episode, I picked something from Search Engine Journal. It was a question that was posed to John Mueller, which is basically, if Google's machine learning is going to get so good at knowing what a page is about, will SEO basically die? Will there be any need for it? And I think it's a good question to peel apart, both for business owners who are listening and probably to the SEO who I think may have asked that question. And now that I say that, I really think it's probably a business owner doing their own SEO who may have asked that. So first, I'm not going to assume everybody knows this, but for those of you who in your brain you started asking, who the heck is John Mueller? If you're looking to find out who, there are two. And it is not the one who's a professor of political science and dance at Ohio State University. It's the one that works for Google. Although I would say the other one sounds kind of interesting too. Anyway, Google John apparently drew the short stick after the previous guy, Matt Cutts, did a David Caruso and left the division of Google, because now John gets to do the video calls where SEOs and webmasters and business owners can ask their questions directly. So it's either questions of a general nature about things like web crawling or some very specific things about their websites. It's called Google Search Central SEO Hangout. Long word, but either way, it's BYOB. Bring your own brain. Okay, John's official title is Senior Webmaster Trends Analyst at Google. But he is pretty much the public face if you have questions. Now, back to the original question. Is Google going to get so smart that it's going to know what a page is about and SEO dies? I will tell you his answer, but first I want to talk a little bit about two things. One, why is this question so hard for John to answer? And it may be because it's kind of obvious and he didn't want to make somebody feel bad. But looking at that question, I think the better question would be, would turning Google into an answer machine make Google become obsolete? But that's going to be a topic for a different episode. But for the business owners out there, I do wager that this question deep down is basically some form of the question you probably already asked, because it really doesn't feel good for the most part to business owners who have to pay every month for either an outside or inside SEO person. Because basically, I think most really don't understand what is being done. I mean, really, you wrote your content years ago, it's been working, and who does this person think they are coming in and telling you that your content, which is great, isn't easily understood by Google, so it must be changed? Why? And you're thinking, if Google's applying artificial intelligence to determine the topic of a page, then who needs an SEO? Because, well, you've got Google, and Google is free. If you apply that logic all the way down, I mean, you don't have to stop at SEO, right? So why would you hire a lawyer? Because you could just Google what you need. And if you just download a basic template of a will and have your bank teller sign it as a witness, then the courts can figure it out. There are literally movies made about these choices, and most of them are tragically comedic and also very expensive. So back to the SEO part. So here's what I want to ask. Do you think the goal of SEO is just to succeed with Google getting to understand your topic, so that the 150 or 190 or so entries for the same keyword is just getting into that group all you're going for? It reminds me of one of my favorite movie scenes. It's in a movie called A League of Their Own, and it's a true story where women were recruited for a baseball league during World War II. And there's a classic scene where after an error by one of the players, and she's getting chewed out, and she starts to cry, and the coach, who you probably know, is played by Tom Hanks. And I'm sure you've heard it, but he basically says, "Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball." Well, in SEO, unlike baseball, there are no ties. Go ahead and try as many searches as you need. You'll see that there is a result in spot 1, and another one in spot 2, and another one in spot 3, and so on, all the way down to the very last one. And like I said, it's not as many as you think, but that's another topic. So do you think in that search result that Google doesn't already know all those results are pretty much on the same topic? I'll say it again. There are no ties in Google or Bing or whichever search engine you or your clients use. So, business owner, that's why you pay an SEO. Their job should be to make your page more relevant than the one below it and keep working it up the page. And as you can imagine, every new page is basically you're working against a new set of SEOs. And let me tell you, as you start to approach page 1, you're working with a better and better and better group of SEOs. So you're going up in class. And sometimes you reach a point where if you're doing your own SEO, you can't take it any further. Sorry. And for the SEO person or business owner who's doing their own SEO, I really think as a professional SEO, you just don't, what's the word? Don't you dare think that your job is just to be relevant. Your job is to be the most relevant. So let Google AI do all their sorting. It's a game. It's a game where Google sets the rules. Your job as an SEO is to be able to identify when the rules change and adjust your client's page accordingly. Period. So I want to go back to John's answer before I get too far off. He doesn't think that the Google algorithm will get so smart that no optimization will be needed. I mean, he does see some of the manual tasks might become automated by the, we call it CMS, Content Management System. For the non-SEO, that basically means a software that runs your website, and usually that's going to be WordPress. And here's to the SEOs who understand SEO in a way that is like the old saying. The way how not to get killed by a bear, you don't have to run faster than the bear, you just have to run faster than the guy next to you. Well, this brings us to the end of this Vermont episode. Thank you for listening. Feel free to send your comments and questions to confessions@AmericanWayMedia.com. And if you're interested in Core Web Vitals, and I swear to God, it doesn't sound like anybody's not, I highly recommend you listen to episode 22, which is my take, somewhat jaded, on the upcoming Core Web Vitals this summer. And if you're looking for a fun episode, and this is one that I think every SEO seems to enjoy in a perverse kind of way, episode 2, Why I Hate Working Client SEO. And I am asking for your help to get the word out to other SEOs or business owners about the podcast. Please let your friends know about Confessions.